Sup everyone, it's Demolition Derby for Life. I'm here going to do an aftermath on a couple RC Derby bodies that I brought down to point series number 2. I didn't do an aftermath on the first point series because there wasn't really to do an aftermath on. Nothing really broke, nothing too damaged on the body. Like, the only thing I changed out was the bumper, and that's really about it. Everything else I fixed quick and was good to go. So for the second point series, there was 24 cars. We split it up into 3 heats. I was in heat number 2. The person that I brought down there to run the other car was in heat number 1. And I didn't do so good. I was the first one out in my heat because I lost a motor. And the person I brought down in her heat, she did really well. She didn't make it to the feature because she got pushed out, or she got knocked out, so she wasn't able to make it. So we both went to the consi. So that's why you're not going to see a consi for this one, because we both were running and we weren't able to record. I could have recorded, but couldn't find my phone, so I wasn't able to actually record the point series. But anyways, so what took me out was I burnt up a motor in my actual, or not my actual, but my main chassis. So yeah, so that's why you won't see a motor in here. So I started tearing the motor off and was gonna swap in another one, and then I realized that there wasn't quite something right. As you can see, that the front is not quite level. So it caught my eye. Don't worry about these. I took these off because I was trying to fix something, or I'm gonna start to fix it. So I wasn't quite understanding on why it was out of level until I started touching it. Oops. Don't want to lose those. But yeah, I broke a shock tower. I didn't actually think that was really possible, but I guess with enough stress, that can happen. So yeah, that broke, so it happens, but we'll be fine. I do got a spare already. I already have sitting over there ready to get put in. So what ended up taking me out is I lost my motor. It started smoking, starting to like not catch fire, but it burnt up basically. So the motor's junk in this one. So I decided to instead of tearing that shock tower out, I went to my backup. So this control here was originally on here. So I took this control off, put it on here, and not 2 minutes into my run, this motor started to smoke. I noticed it right away. I should have stopped, so I think this motor's probably junk too. Should I chance it and I think it's fine. I'll do some test running around, and if it's actually junk, I'll have to throw it away and throw in a new motor, which realistically isn't that bad for me. I'll just do it right away. But so I'm thinking this control is bad. There should be no reason why 2 motors within, because this is a completely different chassis. I didn't even use the same one, but it's the same control. Nothing else is different. This is the only different thing, or the only same thing between the two. So I think this control is bad and caused both these motors to basically grenade themselves. So I don't know for sure if this is it, or if it's just some freak thing where this motor and the motor that was on here just happened to go at the same time. But it just seemed like it happened so quick, and I just couldn't believe it. That I think this is bad. This control here is bad. Leave a comment down below if you actually know if that's it or whatever. I'm going to do some research. Maybe it's just a freak thing, but if it is, I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to probably buy a couple brand new ones and just take this out of the box and take this out of here and just have nothing to do with it, because I thought that was just such a freak thing that it can't be just a coincidence. So I'm pretty sure this is what grenaded and caused both these motor, or that motor that was on there and this motor, to smoke. But I don't know. That's really all the only thing that happened, because I was out within a couple minutes in the consi, and for my heat, I ran basically the whole heat, or about 5 minutes, and then a little over 5 minutes, and then the motor grenaded, so I ended up having to switch it out or whatever, or started to fix it, but then it just wasn't gonna happen in enough time. So yeah, oh well. But leave a comment down below if you actually think it was that piece there that caused, that piece there that caused both the motors that were on two different chassis to grenade. I don't want to test it out again to have a third one grenade, so I'm gonna get rid of that thing and just get a brand new one, and hopefully we'll be fine. It's only money, right? It's only money. This chassis was the one that my friend ran. Has no issues, nothing broke, everything is alright. So it's good to go for another run. Don't have to fix anything on it. So these are the ones that I ran are the only ones that I need to fix. So here we go. Now to the bodies. So this is the one that I ran. This thing got really beat up in my heat, which I was in heat 2, and I think there was 8. I think there was 8. And that was the first one out because of my thing got, or like I said, my motors grenaded. So, I mean, it got beat up. I mean, this has got 4 runs on it now, but it's still holding up really well. I didn't even put any new plates on, or fix-it plates. Right here it's starting to tear more. Right here it's actually tearing, which I'm going to throw a fix-it plate on there eventually. I don't know if I'm going to run this body again. I'm thinking more than likely not, just because I got a couple more fresh bodies and I want to see how they go. And normally what's been happening is this tail end right here will fold up, it'll stop right there, and that's as far as I've gotten so far, because I keep having issues happening and whatever else, which I'm getting real tired of having to fix stuff, but that's the life of a derby guy. Ooh, there are your snowmobiles. A couple more fix-it plates there. That back end's actually starting to fold in real weird, which, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. Doesn't look like too much. It looks about the same as the other side until you actually start to... Yeah, she's folded in pretty good. Cage is actually bending inwards, which not really surprised, because that's normal. That side too is starting to go in a little bit, but that side you can definitely tell. I'm going to try to bend it back out and maybe add in an extra brace or something to help. You can tell that the front's had its better days. I mean, it's still holding up really well. But that side there just looks so cool. In my eyes, it does. Front bumper, this is a different one. You can tell it's actually starting to go in, like starting to collapse right in the middle, which I think is actually kind of cool. A little different. It's something you don't see very often, but this bumper is actually sitting right about with the front of that bumper, so that's, I'm not really surprised that it's starting to compress in. This thing here is loose. I'm gonna end up putting a new one in eventually, but if I end up not using this again, I'm just gonna use it for fun. But yeah, that's my body. A little disappointed that I didn't get to actually finally wreck it, and that's got another run on it for sure. And then we're gonna go over to my friend's body. Well, I built it, but as you can tell, she's a little compacted. Front end's going down, which that's usually what they do anyway. They usually go right up where the cage is, they bend down. But they're actually, I'm just surprised that this, I don't know if it's the material that I'm getting or what, but this metal has not bent. It's starting, or tear. It's not starting to tear. There's a few holes actually, like right here's a hole. That's like in the corner there's a hole, but I think that's from getting punched. But as you can tell, front end's, it's getting beat up pretty good. And she is just concave, like, or not concave, I don't even know what that means. Just mangled. She's just getting compressed. Like, yeah. Bumper actually, right, I need more, I need like 4 hands. So right here is about where that bumper was actually sitting. So this bumper here is sitting so low. The reason why it's sitting so low is because I shortened up the bottom. I shortened it up by like an inch. Because what was happening is in her first heat, what happened was the whole front end bent down and her front tires weren't even touched on the ground, so she couldn't steer or nothing. So what I ended up doing is I shortened it up by at least a good inch. I might have to shorten it up a little bit more, but I don't know. It might be fine. But the bumper, I mean, the bumper is basically doing nothing. It wasn't even getting hit. Everyone was clearing. It was hitting right up here. So the only thing this was good for was getting underneath and having people get popped up, and then she could push them into the wall. But it's holding on. Like right here's the only little dent in that bumper, and right there too a little bit, but it's fine. Starting to crinkle there, and the sides are not even getting pushed in yet. Like right there, it's still straight, so this body will definitely get another run. But the back end is what I'm most proud of. Came right into the back cage, and that's where she stopped. Didn't move anywhere else. The bumper's actually basically compressed. Still holding on. I actually did a thing where their back straps, basically, that one actually broke, which I was surprised. That one's still on, but still. I mean, basically, that back end was right about here, give or take, and it just got folded in, crunched up, and so this body and that body are basically the same. So how this one here is like a point, that's how it was here, but instead of being completely flat, there was a good sized divot. So now that actually helped with everything coming in, it packed in nice. It's basically like tucking a trunk. And that's where it stopped, and it's still there. But it's not gonna last forever. It's actually gonna, I think it's gonna end up grenading eventually. But here's the side that really got beat up. I think I set the cage a little too high or something, but realistically, I mean, still good. You can tell this is the side that was getting picked on the most. That whole front end, it looks trippy. But that front end's, actually it's starting to tear. Or no, that's not starting to tear. It's just folded in really weird. But surprisingly, she had all wheel clearance. Nothing was rubbing. I think it's the pattern that I put on there. But like, that is caved in. The metal's bending in. This is actually sitting right above the tire. So I gotta figure out something to keep it from doing that. Because this side here is straight yet. But this side, I don't know if I just took a weird, or if she took a weird shot and it pushed in. I know this video is getting long, guys, but I figured I might as well show every detail. Like, this is definitely a fun sport to get into. It's fairly cheap. When you start breaking a lot of parts, then it gets a little expensive. But I got a good month before the next derby, which sadly, the next RC Derby is on the same day as Winter Slam. And Winter Slam is on the same day as Monster Jam. So I have 3 things to pick, and right now I don't know what one I want to go to more. Right now I really want to go to the RC Derby, but Winter Slam's a very close second, and Monster Jam is a third pick. Hopefully some freak thing will happen where Winter Slam will get canceled, rescheduled for another day, and hopefully maybe the RC Derby too will get canceled. Then I can go to the Monster Jam. Then I can either maybe pick between the Winter Slam Derby or the RC Derby, which hopefully maybe I'll talk to the promoter of the RC Derby. Maybe he can reschedule to a different date. Hopefully, but we'll see. But for now, thank you guys for watching my videos. I appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one.